Today I'm going to talk to you about the path of spirituality. Your definition of spirituality might be very different from mine. For me, spirituality means to center yourself, to find the peace within yourself, and to make a connection with the higher consciousness. No matter what definition we have, we all know that our kids need to grow up with a feeling of gratitude, a certain sense of calm, peace, and center themselves, especially in this tumultuous and highly reactionary world. So, how do we do it? Like I've always said, it begins with you. How do you find peace within yourself? How do you keep calm? There are a few suggestions that I can give you that I practice in my daily life and see if you find that useful. The most important thing for me is to wake up before the kids wake up. I love to wake up in a calm, quiet, still house. And one of the things that I do is something called coffee and conversation with God. That's a term that I made up, so you are free to use that term. During that time when I sip coffee on the couch, I just am with myself. My feelings come, I'm aware, I don't judge my feelings. I am just being who I am. And that's how I spend that quiet moment when everything around me is very, very still. And another thing that I would suggest that you do if you have 10 minutes in the morning is to read something positive. I read a lot, but I don't consistently read, but I try to read about 10 minutes every single day of spiritual books. I have many. I'm reading currently 5 different books, but I don't finish them cover to cover. I just pick it up, read something, because that's the advice I need for that day. In the link below, I will provide you a list of books to get you started, some of the books that I really cherish and I have read over and over again. And if you don't have that 10 minutes during the day, go ahead and take 5 minutes of your time and look for a positive quote and then maybe write it down. Something that gives you and brings positivity in you to start your day. Another thing I might suggest you do is take a pause throughout the day. When I was little, I watched my grandmother drink tea at 11 in the morning, and I never understood at that time, but now that I look back and I see what a beautiful thing that is a pause for her from all her breakfast chores before the lunch prep begins. So taking a pause throughout the day helps you connect with the being of who you are and slow you down. In Islamic religion, they pray 5 times a day, and I think that is the same idea. Put down everything you're doing, take a pause, center yourself, connect to the higher being. You may not have time to do that 5 times a day, but I suggest you do it when you change roles or another time when you're taking a break from work. Don't have to drink tea. Maybe you can go for a walk around the block. Maybe listen to your favorite music. And one of the most important time that I really need that tea time is when I finish teaching the kids and I'm ready to do the dinner prep and the evening chores. I like to have that pause. So taking this pause might help you to center yourself and be calm. So I have given you steps on how to practice that for yourself. Now your question might be, what about the kids? So with little kids, you don't have to do anything special for them to be spiritual, because if you have observed little kids and toddlers, if you have observed them digging up worms and looking at the worm intently, so absorbed, so in spirit, that is spirituality for them. The word spirituality has to do with being in spirit. But when the kids grow up, you want to give them tools and strategies to be away from this distracted world so they can create a space in their head and center themselves. One of the things that we do is on Sundays, we have something called temple time, because we don't go to the temple now because of COVID. So we have created this space and time in our house to do chant mantras, to meditate, to do slokas. And I read to the kids from one of the spiritual books that I'm reading. I read aloud to everyone 1 or 2 pages from whatever selection I choose for the day. And another thing that we do for the temple time is to create something called a spiritual journal. So after I have read from the book, I give homework. I assign homework to everyone about what I have read. So for example, one of the homework was, how do you brighten someone's day, and how do you create positivity in someone's day? So the kids and the adults, me included, write during the week whatever we have done to bring positivity in others. So it kind of changes based upon what spiritual reading I do aloud to them. But you don't have to do something elaborate like Sunday temple time like us. What you can do is have a book, have a notebook and a pencil available for the kids next to their bedside table. So when they're ready to go to sleep, give them a prompt, or say, ask them to write something about the day, and slowly you can give them spiritual questions or positive questions for them to jot it down. Bedside reminds me of another thing that you can, and I would highly suggest to do with your kids, is to have a prayer or positive affirmation right in the morning when they wake up before they put their feet on the floor. So one of my favorite Aunt Banaka had taught me this sloka where you watch your palm and chant a tiny sloka, and I do that every single day. And I have done it for so many years. I've taught my 12-year-old that, and he does that too. My teenager does a positive affirmation before she gets out of the bed. So this is how you start your day, with positivity and in spirituality, and then you end your day writing in your journal. And throughout the day, you practice calmness, peace, and that's how you bring spirituality to your life. And I have so much to say, and it's hard to say everything in about 7 to 10 minute video. So please send me questions and any suggestions that you want about spirituality or any other YouTube video I've talked about. And as always, if you like this, subscribe and share. I would highly appreciate it. Thank you.